Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here watching some more jobless
What are we
reincarnation.
watching? What are we
And
watching?
we just watched Jujutsu Kaisen. They both start with a J, and I was just like, wait, what is this again?
Yes, Mushoku Tensei, famous for starting with a J.
Well, I always say jobless reincarnation because Mushoku Tensei is harder to say.
Is it? You just said it.
Yes, that's right. But let's go ahead and go to the comments today and see what they have to say. Today's comment is from Kevin Cawthon from the Patreon, from the episode I Don't Want to Die. Regarding Rudy's reaction to slavery, I do agree he seems a little too okay with it. We have to keep in mind, though, that in this world, slavery is legal, so Rudy going around freeing slaves would literally be him committing crimes. In this episode, it's mentioned that the dwarf girl's entire family went into legal slavery to pay off the parents' debts. Kidnapping and forcing people to slavery, however, isn't legal. After this episode aired, there was a lot of conversation about it online. A few days later, the author, Rifujin, made this comment about it on Twitter, quote, about Rudeus, he doesn't really have any feelings of hatred for slavery. He feels like it's not necessarily the case that all slaves are universally happier as slaves than they were before becoming slaves. I'm sorry, unhappier. So while kidnapping is evil, he can't say with certainty that slavery itself is evil and doesn't want to impose his own sense of justice upon a culture he's unfamiliar with. I can see you face palming there, Theta. I understand exactly how you
I don't
feel.
want my face to be seen when this is being read.
So now that you've fully disassociated, let's keep going. It would have been nice to hear some of Rudy's inner thoughts about how he viewed slavery, to get some clarifications, because it does come across as him being a little bit too laissez-faire about the whole thing. Very odd choice to not touch on the subject at all. Now, let's go into slavery versus adoption a bit. Oh god, don't take this part too seriously. For slavery, you literally buy the person and own them as if they were an object. For adoption, in Canada, where I'm from, if you adopt to go for a private
If you
adoption,
opt, not adopt.
yeah, yeah, if you opt to adopt a private adoption,
That's what?
so,
If you opt to go for a private adoption,
sometimes called a domestic adoption, you pay a fee, which can be anywhere from 15,000 to 30,000, and assuming you pass all legal requirements, you become the legal guardian of the person.
and
In both
just to clarify, because I know it's the next sentence coming up, but that's legal responsibility for a person and not ownership of a person. You don't own a child. You're legally responsible for a child.
In both cases, you pay money to acquire, quote, ownership over other humans. The difference is, from a legal standpoint, one is still a person and protected by the laws of society, while the other is technically an object. Also, I'm pretty sure if a child expressed strong dislike at someone trying to adopt them, the adoption wouldn't happen, so they have some agency there. So, with that said, technically, slavery is just adoption without the extra red tape. Okay, maybe that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not true. Again, adoption is legal responsibility. Slavery is quite literally ownership. So,
Remember, slavery is only allowable in the United States.
also, I guess slavery is also possession of property, whereas I don't think anyone considers a child property in adoption. I think if you express that view, you're probably not getting that kid.
Uh, Actually, this intersects with a fun quote unquote conversation I was using earlier, which is that the US is the only country to not have ratified the UN Rights of the Child treaty. So 195 countries have ratified that children should have rights, and the US hasn't. And in all 50 states, you can assign children to dangerous farm work. So we're doing really great there right now. I thought that was a fun, fun tangent to all the
I
slavery.
don't know. We have a number of domestic protection agencies out there that will uh, oversee child safety laws. So it's not as
I
though there
mhm,
isn't that at work in the United States. And God forbid we go into the
sure.
whole what is a child argument nowadays.
I would definitely say, as a former child myself, former expert child, uh,
I
children are
too.
definitely treated as property
I
in
too
the
was once
U.S.
an embryo.
But yeah, no, seeing the author reply like that, I see exactly why this is written the way that it is and why it'll never come up. My solution to this is the John Brown anime. That's still going to be my solution going
It's not
forward.
a
The next
strong.
character I see who encounters this has to go, no, I'm stopping this. This is definitely still wrong.
Yeah, it's not a great defense that Rudy has no strong feelings about slavery. And I do not even want to
Mhm.
hear the maybe some slaves are happy. Because that's just fucking. What the
I
hell?
know. I felt exactly how you did when I had to say it. Oh gosh.
Also, indentured servitude is not good. I don't care if you're going to say, "Oh, those two people sold themselves into slavery." Oh, okay. So we're cool with those prisons from the 18th
Mhm.
century where people would be put into for having debt. A debtor's
Yeah,
prison. We're
debtor's
cool with
prisons, yeah.
We're cool with debtor's prisons too, because it's literally the same thing.
So we
One's in
could
service to
definitely
the
be
government, and the other's in service to a private ownership. Don't come at
there's
me with that shit. It's wrong.
there's
Morally
a lot of
reprehensible.
externalities to this whole thing that we could be here for like 4 hours talking about, just discussing it and like how far reaching it kind of goes. But
I'm trying not
I
to.
think I think there's a really easy solution to this. If you or I were the writer, here's how I would suggest like dealing with it, right? You have you have Rudeus go, all right, this is all bad. This would never fly back in my world, and I would not have been okay with it there either. But I have a lot of other things I need to do, like saving my mother, solving the teleportation disaster, keeping the world from exploding, apparently, and not getting killed by a dragon god. I don't have time to also start a slave revolution. That at least would give Rudius it wouldn't make it that much better, but it would give him at least an excuse to say, I have too much on my plate to do this for this story.
I understand where you're going, and
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, it's not great either, but I could see
Yeah.
that. But
It would be more palatable.
I think at the very least, the author could have made that comment instead of the comment that they ended up making.
Oh, I know. Instead, they do, it's not our time thing. It's just like people at that time didn't like it either.
It, though, I mean, there's their statement of Rudy doesn't want to impose, right? That is that is their end all be all of Rudy doesn't want to impose his sense of justice on. Why the fuck not? Why not?
He's done it before.
Like
He's done
literally,
it.
well, he did it in this episode. Basically, would you rather be dead? Hands around throat. Would you rather be dead? I'm willing to kill you. Not willing to try and save anybody, but I'm willing to kill you.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and have to give a black mark onto the show for that. Still a lot of good stuff in it. Hopefully, we never have to come back and look at this again.
I mean, I
Hopefully,
guess
we're done.
the only way to have addressed this would have been a hard pivot for the entire show, right? Where Rudius then goes on an adventure to end slavery.
Yeah,
But
again, the John Brown anime.
and
Which,
I understand that's like not the point of the show, but we've made so many hard pivots in this show so
mhm.
far that I don't feel like it would have been unnecessary to do. Like what is going on here? Oh no, I know about this. And just I don't know, he doesn't have to be, you know,
we could maybe
talk
have done some kind of smaller.
he's there with Sylphie. Talk to Sylphie about it. Then Sylphie brings you to the princess, and then we start talking about the princess's storyline about getting back into power in her own kingdom, and then we make the vow, okay, once you're back in power, we're going to start getting rid of slavery and outlaw slavery in your kingdom, and then we start pivoting onto the princess's storyline.
Hey, that would at least been smooth, like integrated, and like it wouldn't solve the immediate problem of it's everywhere, but at least Rudius would be implying or imploring other people to take a step in the correct direction somewhere on the planet, right? That would have been good. I'd like that.
Yeah.
Your idea's good too.
It incorporates the story, right? And people that have, you know, my friend who's a very powerful magician, we're just gonna help you with your two brothers that are usurping the kingdom and threatening your life. But he has this one demand that he needs to make. It's gonna sound weird, but let's just
Mhm.
hear him out for a second. Just something. Doesn't have to take that long.
So, Kelvin, thank you so much for bringing this information to us. Everything makes a lot more sense now. Greatly appreciated. Refugin, get your mind out of that slavery gun. Just do it. Just get out. I think that's all I can say about that now. So, Theta, do you have any thoughts for today?
Yeah, I just said a bunch of them.
Do you have a couple more?
No, go
All
do
right.
the recap.
Let's go ahead and go to the recap. Last episode was The White Mask, where, while researching the mana catastrophe, Rudeus crosses path with the enigmatic individual who reawakens long-buried emotional scars. Uh, in this case specifically, the White Mask individual was the one who was walking around with our dragon god, I suppose. I forgot what her proper name was for a second here.
You know what?
Don't.
I do know her name because I just remembered I do have thoughts.
Oh, good. We can go back to this in a
Sorry,
second.
I've just been so thrown by the slavery conversation once again that I forgot my thoughts from a
But
week ago.
I think the way I would describe that episode was we got an info dump on all the meta stuff that was happening as far as the characters themselves understand it. We know the teleportation disaster brought our white masked individual into the world. We
We think
know
that.
more
We don't
about
know that.
summoning in the world. We know there's two more characters out there we got to go find. We learned a lot, but we still got a lot of questions. So I think Theta, that's a good segue for what are your thoughts about all that?
Worth noting that Nanashi was an outgoing person in our world and became a shut-in in this one, versus Rudy, who was a shut-in in our world and became an extrovert in this one.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of a fun detail. I like that observation a lot. I guess her shutting in is kind of more like she explained. If she reveals too much, she could end up causing damage or harm in some way, or disappearing herself. Was it? I forget what was the case. What happens if she tells people too much?
Nothing?
No, she definitely explained that there were consequences. Like she could
She
be
doesn't.
destroyed or something.
You might forget, but all of the shit she says is hypothetical.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess she
I
couldn't
don't
have
know if this
possibly
was another
experimented to
case
find
of
out.
you not being able to hear me when I'm talking and you're talking, but I
Yeah.
corrected you on the calamity thing while you were saying it.
Oh, okay.
That it's hypothetical. She says, I may have done that. She says, I don't know.
Right. I guess we have a lot of what ifs buried in there, but I guess as a reader, I'm just going like, that's definitely true. Yep, I trust this vocal piece. I trust this person to be telling me the truth and not be like, not they're not gaslighting me, lying, or misunderstand entirely. So I guess that was just my impression. Um. So let's see. Any more observations or thoughts, Theta?
Do you think this is all Man God's doing? That he's summoning people from Earth to change something here or for some plot? I think Nanoshi shows that if they are two related things, then it isn't purely to improve their lives, since Rudy's life has clearly been improved, but this is relatively miserable for Nanoshi.
Yeah, I definitely agree on the man god conspiracy. That seems the most likely thing right now because I guess conservation of details, no one else has been implied to be able to draw people from Earth to this world, right? So it's got to still be his fault. And he's also the cagiest person in the entire show, outside of just being completely silent. So he's up to something. What's he up to? I have no idea. What does this get him?
If her being summoned caused the calamity, wouldn't it stand to reason that sending her back would cause another one?
I think so. That makes perfect sense. The funnier thing is it causes the calamity on Earth, and a bunch of people like in the middle of like Japan get teleported to random places around the globe.
There's no magic on Earth, though.
My assumption is the same thing happens wherever you arrive, but yeah, maybe it won't. Who knows?
There's no magic on Earth, though.
Okay. That they still got teleported from Earth, they can be sent back.
Well, I mean, I assume it's a matter of the magic is here. They got pulled to here because the magic is here. The magic could send
disastrous.
them. I imagine the language question should create its own arc for Sylphie. Nanashi claims it's the language of their homeland, but Sylphie has known Rudy since they were children. We know as the audience that both things are true, but I imagine that would be harder for Sylphie to logic out on her own.
I have a feeling Rudeus is definitely not going to tell anyone. I think after that discussion, he's even more going to not tell anyone the actual truth that he's from another world. He's never going to say that aloud to another character without some sort of compelling force.
That's why I said logic it out on her own.
Right, so can Sylphie solve this without any additional help from either of them about all the things they just shared between themselves?
They said it's the language of their homeland, and Sylphie has known Rudy since they were kids.
So if she's researching the teleportation disaster with Rudeus, and they figure out how it works, and then she figures out that our white mask character is from another world by their research alone, and then uses that statement to draw a conclusion, maybe she could actually get there. Maybe she could come to the conclusion Rudeus is in fact from another world. All right, then. So I think on that note, let's go ahead and watch. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below. Join the Discord. Let me know what your favorite version of reincarnation is. Nobody did.
Right, that's still happening.
そういえば、ルディはどうなんだろう。女の子好きなのは間違いないらしいけど、自制しているのかな。違う、分かっている。ルディは僕に向かってじゃなく、フィッツに向かって手を振っているんだ。
This is your fault thing.
サイレントは女性だった。ルディは明らかに彼女を意識している。
You knew Silent was a woman when you ever called her Miss Silent.
何か特別な僕の知らないつながりがある。その心の距離はブエナ村にいた頃の僕よりも近い。
Oh, that's just the black hole of emotions, because very clearly Rudy is not interested in her in that way at all.
彼女はポッと出てきたくせに、ルディと昔から一緒にいたみたいに座った。とても近い位置に。どうしよう。足がすくんで前に進めない。どこに勇気を落としてしまったんだろう。誰か僕の勇気を返してほしい。
What's the name of this episode?
Good question. Don't know.
I mean, you have a whole intro to figure it out.
Sure. Let's go ahead and look it up.
Now that we're back in intro land.
It's episode 10, right? Wait, no, that doesn't make sense in the... Oh, season 2, here we go. These feelings.
Ah. The episodes I deal the worst with.
Yep.
Although technically some would say slavery was the issues I dealt with the worst with.
I don't know, Theta. I think you dealt with slavery pretty well. You did go on a rant about how you don't want to impose your views on other people. I think you did okay.
I don't know, there's always an episode of a show that everyone likes where I have a differing view. And it automatically shuts everyone down from me. Vinland Saga, for example.
I think the most hardening thing to me is at least everyone else saw that episode and went, wait, what the hell, author? Thank you, everybody else, for starting controversy.
Well, I mean, apparently, for some of the few out there that don't shit on Rudy for just being Rudy. However, this part of his personality is kind of to be shit on.
Right.
それは同じなのだが、正直なところ、機嫌を損ねたらまずい気がする。
貴様、
はい。
強くなってどうする？
どうと言われましても。
我が輩は強さと名声を追い求めすぎた男を何人か知っておるが、ろくなものではなかったぞ。そんなものより大切なことはいくらでもあるのにな。
大切なもの？
無論女であるな。貴様も一人見つければわかろうものだ。
I guess you could just tell him about your erectile dysfunction.
時に魔王様。
なんだ。
不能の直し方を知りません
Oh,
か？
yeah, there you go. Called it.
知らぬ。
I'm sure he's definitely never going to connect those two thoughts at all.
めんどくせえな。そうだな。今日はいい天気だな。そうだな。
バーディーガーディとのこともあって、最近俺は恐れられている。
I guess I would be scared of the kid who could nuke the courtyard.
Well, she has two reasons.
ボス、そのぐらいで勘弁してやるにゃ。ゴリアでも悪気なかったにゃ。同じ従属として、ここはあちしらの顔を立ててほしいにゃ。最近はボスの射程が増えてきたから。
And also this confusing situation, which hasn't hit YouTube yet, so nobody has to throw me under the bus for that yet.
ナンバー2は2人いてもいいでしょう。
ボスは分かってないにゃ。組織の序列はしっかりしておかにゃいと。そうなの。
You wouldn't understand this, Griff. Being an
Yeah,
anarchist.
no, I don't get this. What is the hierarchy thing here? I don't understand.
That just mean that you're fighting against hierarchies, so...
Yeah, yeah. One anime at a time.
ルーデス。呪いについて何か分かったか？
最近毎日聞かれる。
呪いですか。呪い。かつて
Apparently you spent time drawing a unicorn.
道具に移し、別の種族になすりつけたそうです。
道具に？
スペルト族がラプラス戦役で持っていた槍がそれに当たるそうです。そのせいでスペルト族の戦士たちは狂い、一族が迫害されるに至ったとか。
スペルト族が？本当なのかそれは？
Interrupting class, how could you?
I don't know why he cares. His last name is Half-Ass. We know what he's about.
ありがとうルーデス。君のおかげで何か分かったような気がするよ。
授業の後
The
は
teacher sounds like you have a coughing problem.
I sympathize with that teacher.
3階だとジュリが席につけませんからな。
おい、ルーデウスだぜ。すげえよな。たった1年で特別生徒全員を占めちまうなんて。俺、魔王を倒すところ見てたんだぜ。一撃だよ、一撃。
ああいうのは気分が良くなるが、あまり調子に乗らないようにしたいところだ。
こんなところにおったか。橋で縮こまりおって。
But the corner is the best place to avoid conversation with everyone.
マスター、魔王様の飲んでるのとても美味しそう。
さすがドワーフであるな。一目見ただけでこの良さがわかるとは。
バーディ様、少しいただいて
I still can't imagine this dude with that little girl that we know as the Demon King.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy comparison between the two. Our demon empress is like just such a weird character.
師匠かそういうのでしたら。
学生とは大変であるな。
お次はこの大麻レンガで覆われた実験室で召喚魔術に関する実験を行う。と言っても俺がやるのは 七星が独自に描いた魔法陣に魔力を注ぐという単純作業だ。
At least this is progress, right?
I don't know that it is.
彼女はその法則性について調べ、大量の魔法陣を描き、実験を繰り返すことで、いくつかの
Because if she has no magic, she can't test this herself, so where does any
すごいことだ。
practical experience come from?
Yes, from Rudy.
Before this, though.
成功したんですか？
いいえ、失敗よ。
Because remember last time she even went on at length that these people don't try new
総当
things.
たりで正解を見つけようとしている。
具体的にこれは何の実験をしているんですか？
私たちの世界から人間を召喚するための前段階の理論のための実験ね。
I would stop doing that then.
人間を召喚する
Rudy doesn't seem to care.
すれば逆に送り返
She's
す魔法陣
trying
を作れる。
to summon somebody from the other world. You know that you
それ
think
はいいですが、人間を召喚って
that created a calamity last time you did it, so you're willingly taking part in creating another calamity.
He's got it right here.
この後2つの理論が実証できれば、あの災害が起きた理由の仮説が立てられるわ。
実験に失敗はつきものなんて言葉も
I'll be able to figure out how the disaster happened by creating another disaster is not a great way.
芝固めからやっているんでしょ。
Again, at least they're starting simple instead of going right for
に
it.
ついて学びたいのですが、
召喚術は私の生命線よ。おい、それと教えられないわ。
何でも教えてくれるって言ったじゃないですか。
今の実験が終わったら一つ質問に答えてあげるわ。
一つ割に合わないんじゃないですかね。
どのみちすべての実験が終わって私が帰るときには実験結果をあなたにあげるんだ。
Wonder when the third person's going to show up.
まあ、まだ何も成果が出てないうちからのくれくれはみっともない
Yeah,
か。
what could possibly the other two people be doing? The other two humans.
Well, no, it's her and one other person.
No, she mentioned 2 other people.
夕食後は
Well,
ジュリ
we-
に
That word on her.
Well, she doesn't know what happened when she died. So,
Mhm.
その後は
remember it was
人間
him and
作
2
りだ
other people died.
とはいえ、ジュリはまだ1
So
年
her
Yeah, yeah.
and one other
絶対
person.
的に魔力総量が足りないし、精密性も全然だ。手先は器用といっても、彫り物用の道具は使い始めたばかりで、ぎこちなさが残っている。長い目で見ていく必要があるだろう。七星に会って以来、図書館に行くことは少なくなった。
He's completely forgotten about
これで一
Fitz.
日は過ぎていく。病を治す手立ては見つからない。フィッツ先輩とはあまり会わなくなっちゃったな。ある日、一通の手紙が届いた。
On the back of a Pokemon
ソル
card.
ダートからだ。
ゾルダート・ヘッケラー。懐かしきステップとリーダーのリーダーだ。
You might not remember.
何々
It's been 5
クラン
episodes.
の集会でシャリーアに来てるのか。そこで久しぶりに飯でも食おうと手紙をくれたらしい。中高時代の友達と久しぶりに遊ぶ感覚ってこんな感じなんだろうか。結構いいもんじゃないか。
それにしても泥沼、本当に久しぶりだよな。
ええ、いつぶりですかね。
お前がこんな格好してるとそこらのルーキーにしか見えないぜ。
Exactly the clothes I was wearing when I knew you. What are you talking
荷物
about?
持ちでもしてあげましょうか。
お前が荷物を持つ？バカか。持つのは俺たちだろ。
はぐれ竜の時もそうでしたね。
ありゃ稼がせてもらったな。しかしエリナリーゼよ。お前みたいなビッチが恋人と
Well,
何の
rude.
今まで私を本気で射止めた
That's just how he is, unfortunately.
でもついに現れたんですの。素敵な殿方が。私こう見えて一途ですの。
Also, one that doesn't care, you call your girlfriend a slut.
おいソル、もう一度集合だ。
またかよ。午前中にやったじゃねえか。
Because again, it goes into my entire argument about the curse versus her free will.
今日
If it's not her free will and it's the act of the curse, then calling her a slut is a huge insult.
また今度頼むわ。
ええ、また誘ってください。
We really do just gotta get like a whole episode about Elion's day there, don't we?
皆さんはこの後どこかへ行くんですか？
そうですわね。
Or maybe this is just
これ
it.
からクリフに冒険者のいろはを教えてあげようと思いますの。ご一緒にいかが？
ああ、
ルーデウス、お前の助けを借りる気はない。
それなら僕は学校に戻ります。
では他の方にはよろしく言っといてください。
Cliff was never seen
エ
again.
リナリーゼさんたちも初心者が一緒
I was gonna like laugh a little bit if they did actually go on an adventure. It's like, well, Cliff died because of you. I hope everyone's happy.
あなたじゃありませんし、竜や魔王になんて挑みませんわよ。
二人でここにいていいんだろうか。王女様はどうしたんだ。ま、挨拶だけはしておくとしようか。
Princess is actually hiding.
奇遇ですね、こんなところで。
お前、ルーデウス。
相変わらず俺のことが好きではないらしい。俺はフィッツ先輩と仲良くできればそれでいいんだが。
おや、フィッツ先輩、今日はちょっとイメージ違いますね。
何が違うんだろう。なんというか物腰。
どうした？こんなところで何の用だ？
I don't know what's
ま
up.
ずいところに出くわしたのだろうか。
He knows and he's protecting her.
ルークは実は男もいける口で、フィッツ先輩とはナウイ息子でレスリングな仲とか。
いえ、
So you say trendy wrestling?
Yeah, he did.
フィッツ先輩。
そうか。挨拶に感謝する。フィッツは王女の護衛中は一言も喋らないことになっている。悪いが察してくれないか。
やはり何かまずいタイミングで来
Well,
てしまっ
sorry,
たのだろう
where's
か。
she at then?
でも一言も口聞いてもらえないってどうなのよ。
どうした？
いえ、何でもありません。失礼します。
So like recognition, just emotional shock, or
外面だけは平静を装えたと思うが、内心ではガツンと来ていた。
Nope, just heard that they wouldn't
フィッ
talk.
ツ先輩に避けられた。何も考えられないぐらいのダメージだ。
well, we all know how well Rudeus handles rejection,
あれ
right?
これと考えたが、どうしてフィッツ先輩に避けられたのか考えてもわからない。嫌われるようなことはした覚えがない。誰かに今の気持ちを相談、いや、愚痴りたい気分だった。ザノバは確かミコの研究とやらで魔術ギルドの方に出向いているはずだ。ジュリも連れて行ってるだろう。リニアとプルセナはなんか真面目に
Yeah, it wouldn't be great to gripe at your slave.
揶揄とかされそうだ。七星は
Meanwhile, the two Beast Girls like are
俺の愚痴なんて聞いて
too
くれないかも
trendy
しれない。
teenagers to care about listening to anybody. He's actually right about that one.
こういう時は本でも読んで気を紛らわせよう。あれ？
ルーデウス君、なんだか久しぶりだね。
いつも通りだ。いつも通りの先輩。
どうしたの？顔に何かついてる。
What was going on before?
さっきはどうして無視したんですか？
Did the princess moonlight as Fitz?
実は
That, oh
護衛中の
gosh, that'd be
声を
funny.
出しちゃいけないことになっているんだ。無言のフィッツだからね。僕の声は子供っぽいから舐められるし、人前では特にアリエル様の護衛中は声を出さないことになっているんだよ。
それにしてはアリエル王女の姿は見えませんでしたが。
近くのお店にいたんだよ。護衛は僕らだけじゃないからね。
Okay, that part makes sense. There's more than just
そ
two
んな時
people
に
here.
話しかけてしまい申し訳ありませんでした。
うんうん、いいんだよ。 僕の方こそ相手できなくてごめんね。
少しばかり察しがついてしまった。おそらく
Doesn't make sense to me.
何らかの方法で
If I can hear other guard talk and you
フィ
can't.
ッツ先輩に化けていたのだ。
He's on the same
さっき
page as you
叫ばれた
are.
のは不用意に接触するとそれがバレるから。決してフィッツ先輩に嫌われたからではないはずだ。そうだ、そうに違いない。
I've always told you I have the
俺、嫌わ
emotional
れるようなこと
intelligence of
何
a
もしてないもんな。
teenager
そういうことにしよう。
or younger.
そうなんですか。フィッツ先輩
For a shut-in, he plays video games all day.
I don't actually.
僕
I
が君を嫌いに
edit
なるわ
videos
けないじ
all
ゃない
day.
か。
彼の何気ない仕草が気になる。耳の裏をポリポリと書く動作とか、一仕事を終えた時のぐっと背伸びする動作とか、ふと目の前を通った時に香ってくる匂いとか。そう、あの笑
You
顔
know
だ。
something else that bothers
あ
me?
のはにかんだ笑顔がどうにも頭に
Rudy
残る。
spends more time thinking about how he's not gay than he does slavery.
This is very true, isn't it?
この症状が何なのか知っている。恋ってやつだ。俺は男に恋しているのだ。いや、本当に彼は。
Oh, there it is.
ジーナス先生。
ん？これはルーデウスさん。本日
I
は
want
ど
to
う
see
し
the
ましたか？
student records.
はい。実はフィッツ先輩のことを聞きたくて。
申し訳ありませんが、彼らのことに関しては上から圧力がかかってまして。
そうなんですか。せめて性別だけでも教えてもらえませんか？
性別ですか。うん。
We're all using the word he. So.
男性です。
結局わからなかった。
How does no one in this universe spot
圧
this?
力がかかっているみたいだし。
I guess I'm more impressed that nobody in this universe filled with magic isn't using some like remote viewing or some
仮に
shit.
女だったとして
Yeah.
どうするのだ。告白でもするのだろうか。
せめて自家発電がしたい。
何をしたいって？
Oh, there we go. Coincidence has saved us.
Oh, did you get a hard on?
ごめん。フィッツ先輩、やっぱり女
Now,
だったん
okay.
ですね。
I do appreciate that we've returned to this season 1 story plot thing all over again. Oh, we did get an erection.
He's cured.
なるほど。魔法大学で転移事件について調べれば。ああ、人神様。
でもフィッツ先輩は隠しておきたいのか。
そうだ。彼には、いや、彼女には何度も助けられた。彼女が望むなら、今まで通り、できる限り男として扱おう。ED 回復の鍵を握るのは間違いなくフィッツ先輩だけど、今はこれ以上関係を深めることはできない。
あれ？
Not in the middle of the library, man.
まだ勘違い
Well, I mean, he is a Japanese.
まあいい。兆しは見えたのだ。焦らずに行こうじゃないか。
He's so darn oblivious.
I mean,
This is a comedy of errors. It really is.
yeah, well, again, it's just a return to that one plot point in season 1 where he stripped down Sylphie in the bath area, not
Mhm.
knowing that she was a girl then either.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that was so long ago. I barely even remembered that. But yeah, no, we're right back where we started. He has no idea. He can't put two and two together. He's just a big oblivious doofus.
Who has spent 3 times as much time thinking about am I gay than is slavery all right.
I will give the slight credit of at least it's not causing like some sort of big like existential crisis or anything. You're just like, oh, okay, I guess that's just how it is. At least it's not a big problem.
I mean, clearly it is a big problem, otherwise he wouldn't spend all this time wandering around thinking about it. It's just not a big problem in the aspect of, God, I don't want to be gay. You know, he's not like broing it out. At least he's being like honest with himself, which is good. Yeah. But it's still a problem in his mind because he wouldn't be wandering around the entire school trying to figure it out.
I think the sorry, I had a thought, I completely lost it. My bad. All right. He's just got to take Fitz to lunch at some point. They just got to start like dating regardless of other contexts at all. Like,
well, it doesn't matter. He knows Fitz is a woman now.
Right. Now there's at least more context where he's okay with that and he might pursue literally anything now instead of like having no idea.
But why? Why would he date Fitz?
Because he's into it.
Well, yeah, sexually. But isn't he still all about Roxy? Or isn't he still all about Eris?
You know what? That's a darn good question. I don't think he's going back to Eris here.
Well, I mean, she's still in love with him either way. Maybe he did bail on that, but he's still carrying around Roxy's panties.
Right, but Roxy is still really distant in terms of like actual current connection for him. He doesn't have like a thing to go to. He's just like, oh, I'm just remembering fond memories.
Her panties.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the thing he has to go to.
Okay, but what I mean is Roxy is not going to appear in the next scene.
How do you know? We literally have no idea where she's at.
True, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem like a thing, you know?
I have no idea why you would say that. Literally,
from
people...
the ground perspective,
literally, Heckler just fucking showed up out of nowhere, too. Why not Roxy?
Fair. Still, maybe he might just decide to just, he's already friends with, Fitz/Sylphie here. Sylphie is obviously into it. He's into it. He might just go ahead and start just trying to spend more time with her to explicitly figure out what's going on or maybe how he feels or just have a relationship at all. Maybe he just wants to have a human connection, you know? That's what I'm thinking is how he will rationalize it in his own head.
He has plenty of human connections already.
But none to get him up.
Because Roxy is the one that finally got him out of being like a shut-in.
Mm-hmm.
And he carries her panties around all the time. Eris is the one that he like fucking fell in love with. Sylphie is his childhood friend. That never works out.
That's also really fair. In the back of my mind, this entire time, I've been thinking for the context of anyone Rudeus has any feelings for, if he comes back 10, 15 years later, it's not going to be the same. It is going to crash, and he has no idea how to deal with it. That's kind of always been in the back of my brain. When Eris shows up again, it's not going to be just an instantaneous rebonding, right?
I have no idea. We haven't seen her in such a long time, and the fact that she left saying that she loved him, but not to him, means I have no fucking idea. I don't know how she's going to develop.
It's going to be awkward, and no one's going to know what to do, and they're going to have to figure out where they are again. That's going to be, like, how it goes. You have to kind of renegotiate what your relationship is with somebody at some point, when you, like, haven't seen them for ages. You got to figure out where they are and what's going to happen now. I guess maybe this hasn't happened a whole lot, has it? Like you actually like met someone, not encountered them for ages, and then tried to reconnect with them fully or anything?
Maybe no. So no, because most of the time, anytime I
Mhm.
find someone for the first time, and do a thing, the only time I've ever separated from people has been permanent separation.
Yeah.
Longest relationship I've ever had, maybe like 4 years, where
Yeah.
I like lived with her, and then we like went our separate ways. But then maybe we reconnected like 2 or 3 years later online. But I don't
Yeah.
think that counts in this perspective because that's like just talking to somebody on the phone.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's the closest we get here for that. But yeah, no, it's an awkward thing. They're gonna have to talk it out, and he's gonna have to do that for any other point down the line. But he hasn't had that experience either yet, because everyone in his life has left permanently, and that's all he knows. That's like half of why he broke up so much when Eris left, right?
Nobody's left permanently.
All of his friends in high school, he's basically permanently separated out from his parents. He considers Aerith to
They're
have gone
dead.
forever. He
I'm not.
hadn't seen Sylphie in forever since he left the village. He hasn't seen Roxy again. He only knows that Roxy exists out there in the
I'm not
universe.
counting anybody from our world because those people don't matter. I'm
They did
talking.
him.
That they didn't. Remember, he was a shut-in to the point
All
that
right.
his own family was trying to abuse him for bailing on their mom and dad's funeral. That's why he was wandering out in the streets the night that he
Mhm.
died. He literally had nobody in the real world. I'm
But,
talking about
okay.
everybody in the fantasy world. All the people you list in the fantasy world are not permanently gone.
Yeah, they wouldn't be permanently gone in any other reality either. The point is like he wouldn't know how to reconnect with
You
people. He
listed
hasn't done that.
You listed his mom and dad, which are fucking dead. So yeah, those people are permanently gone. There are some people in this lineup that are permanently gone because they died for realsies. The people
I
you
just want to go
listed.
back to the Theta doesn't understand the emotional aspect of things point you made yourself earlier. That's where I'm going to leave my thoughts.
I'm just saying that you're listing off people that have just gone on a journey as permanently gone. They're not permanently gone. Roxy could show up next episode. Eris, for whatever reason, could show up next episode. Nobody in this world is permanently gone. Because I don't think we've, like, lost anybody.
And when it does, what do you think will happen?
We'll have to deal with death for the first time.
No, I mean when he actually meets someone he hasn't seen in like 15 years.
They won't be permanently gone. I know that's for certain because they'll have re-met.
All right. So, Theta, do you have any other thoughts on particulars from this episode? Things you want to draw attention to? Entering the Mind Palace.
Well, no, I'm just trying to remember back, and most of this episode was just a journey through the day in the life of, so no, I don't think so.
All right, then. So in that case, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end off for today. This has been Stoneface Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?